Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this year's first mommy video. I meant to do this video like forever ago. My daughter is gonna be 2 in March, so yeah, it took me a while to do it. I'm really sorry about that. But here I am. I'm going to be talking to you guys about my labor and birth story. So if you are interested, then let's get started. If this is the first mommy video that you're watching, then please I invite you to watch my previous mommy videos so that you would understand more, because this is like a continuation of what I've been talking about before. But yeah, I guess I will just tell you the story. So my daughter was born early. She is a premature baby. She was born at 34 weeks and 4 days. But before that, I already knew that she was gonna be born early, but I just didn't think it was gonna be that early. So yeah, like I said, just go ahead and watch the previous video so that you would understand the story. But anyways, yeah, so I guess she was born on March 25th, so we're gonna backtrack a couple days before that. It was a Tuesday. I believe it was March 22nd. I was off that day and it was a long day. I do remember it because I had a doctor's appointment in the morning, and then I didn't even eat lunch, and then I went to Costco. It was a very long doctor's appointment too, and then we went to Costco to get the things for the baby shower, which is gonna be the next week Monday. So I went to Costco with my friends to get the food for the baby shower, and then after Costco, it was around 7:30, 8. I had dinner with a couple friends that was helping me with the baby shower. So to thank them, or to thank her, I invited them for dinner. So it was the 4 of us, David and I, and her boyfriend. So it was a really long day, and I could feel it in my stomach. Like I had it's not so much contraction, but it was like stinging pain, like around on my front sides. It was almost like my belly was gonna explode, because it was like I guess you would call it like what is that, premature contraction? Not premature contraction. Preston Hicks. Yeah, so I had those, but it was really painful that I had to we walked to the restaurant for the dinner, but I had to sit a couple times because I was really tired and it was just painful, But I still went there. During the dinner I had really bad back pains, but that's normal, every day after I work or after I'm on my feet for a while. I work in retail, so yes, I'm always on my feet, where I used to work in retail. And then Wednesday the 23rd, I had work in the morning, so I worked 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I finished work. I usually get home by myself because everybody works starting late afternoon and finish after midnight. So yeah, I was home, and I started having contractions very frequently, and I knew it was not Preston Hicks. I knew it was really contractions, because contractions because it was tight, and it was just different from Preston Hicks. I just knew. I don't know how to explain to you, but it's different. It's not period cramps either. It's stronger. Okay. It was far apart, 15 minutes apart. So I told my husband, and he came home a little earlier than usual. And my mom, it was my mom's day off, but she came back home. So yeah, everybody came back home early, and we were just talking to the hospital and letting them know what was going on. And then they tell you the same regular thing, if it's not 5 minutes apart, you don't need to come, blah blah blah. And I knew I didn't have to. I wasn't gonna give birth that night. I knew it wasn't time, but I just want to make sure. I guess I just needed the reassurance. So yeah, my contraction was 15 minutes apart, and I knew it was almost time. I knew. So Thursday the 24th of March 2016. So I was off, and I was sleeping all morning, and when I woke up, I was messaging my friend. She's my dear friend, Malagasy friend. She lives in the mainland, but she used to live in Hawaii. I was messaging her, like, how does it feel when you are in labor? Like, how does it feel? And she was asking me, like, how far along are you? I'm like, 34 weeks. And she's like, how does it feel? Like, how do you feel? I'm like, well, my contractions are like really close to each other, but sometimes it's like far apart, like it's between 5 to 7 minutes apart. And it's tight, my belly is tightening up. So this is how contractions feels, guys. Your whole belly is tightening up, like it's about to explode. It's tightening up. So it's not like period cramps at all, to be honest with you. I don't know why people say that. It's not, unless you have the back pain during your period, then yes, it is like that for the back pain. But for the front, your whole belly is tightening up, and that happens every 5 minutes to like less, supposed to be, if you're really in like active labor. I was not really in active labor, but I was in labor. So yeah, it was about around like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I messaged my friend, like, and she's like, you know what, you are in labor, you cannot be home alone right now, you need people, just message or call your mom, call your husband, you need people right now, you're in labor. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a shower first and take a nap. I felt tired, but I felt it at the same time, anyways. So yeah, I just done. She wanted to talk to me directly, but I just didn't feel like talking. Like the pain was just, yeah. So I went to take a shower. I did my makeup, and I think I went to take a nap again. I don't remember what I did. And then I went to use the bathroom. This is gonna be a little bit TMI. I'm sorry, but I had a discharge. I had like there's a name for it, but I had like a really thick discharge that had blood with it. So as soon as I saw that, I called my mom. I had a discharge, this, and then she just, rushed from her work to home. I called her first because her job is like next to where we used to live, so I know she's gonna be there for me if anything happens, And I told my husband. I called my husband after, and he rushed from work to the hospital. So we're gonna just meet at the hospital. We took a taxi. I already had a few things in my hospital bag, but I just, my mom said, go ahead and pack up and I'll be home. So it took her about like 7 minutes to get home. So I packed up. I packed everything, and don't worry, that hospital bag is coming right after this. But yeah, I already knew what I needed, so I already packed everything, and yeah, I just waited for my mom. The hospital bag was heavy, like I felt bad for my mom to carry it. And she just told me, bring some things for the baby. And I already knew in my head, like, if she's not big enough, because she's only 34 weeks, to make full term you have to be 36 weeks. And that's not even like a really good standard. If you are like if the baby's not in like a perfect weight, the baby would still stay in the hospital. But anyways, she was 34 weeks and 4 days, or 3 days for Thursday. So I'm like, I knew that she's not gonna come home right away with me. But my mom said, pack some clothes for the baby. So I did anyways. I packed the smallest clothes that I could find and the cutest one. Yeah. And so we packed and we left. My mom was like, is there anything you need to take off from this bag? Because I guess it was a little heavy. I'm like, no. So she just grabbed it, and she grabbed extra towels. You guys would hear this in my hospital bags too, but she grabs towels, and I guess it's for me to sit in the taxi cab, so that I had some cushion. So yeah, we waited for the taxi cab. It took a while. Yeah, we had a couple stairs to go down before we get downstairs, and yeah, we didn't have elevator on that previous house. I hated that house. Anyways, it was an apartment. Anyways, besides the point. So my contractions were like 5 minutes to 7 minutes apart still. So I made my mom count. We were walking very slow, and I made my mom count. Like, I mean, keep track, and it was between 5 to 7. And then I was very calm, you guys. Like, the only time I was screaming was when my husband was still asking how I'm getting to the hospital. I'm like, taxi! Like, seriously, like, why do you care? Like, I'm getting there. I'm with my mom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just meet me there. But yeah, that's the only time I was like not calm. But the whole time I was calm. I was just doing my breathing. And funny part is, my maternity leave was the next week, so I was still supposed to work the next day, Friday. This is Thursday we're talking about. So I didn't take any birth class because we're planning on doing that like after the baby shower, but she came early, so I didn't take any classes. So like the breathing and things like that, it just came naturally. Like, this is how I feel right now, this is how I want to breathe right now, like this is how, you know, this is what's gonna make me calm. So yeah, I didn't take any birthing class with my husband or by myself. Nobody ever taught me how to give birth and things like that, so we didn't even buy books yet. Yeah, so we're walking down the stairs. The taxi took a while to come. When it came, it was a lady, and she saw me already. She knew I was in labor, or like she knew what was going on, so she didn't say much. So my mom just put the towel for me to sit, and I sat down and we left. And then arrived at the hospital at the emergency side. David was already there, my husband, and he already had the wheelchair waiting. So I arrived there, then I just sat on the wheelchair. We already knew where to go because we got a tour of the hospital a little earlier, which is good. I suggest you guys do that too. Just take a tour of the hospital where you want to give birth, so you know where to go when you're in labor or when you need to do some checkup, you know what I mean? So yeah, we took the elevator to go upstairs and, you know, checked in and stuff, whatever. It took them a while to, I mean, not that long, but it took them a little bit to check me in. Yeah, so I just explained to them like I had a discharge and this and that, and we already knew also that the baby was gonna come early. And they were like, you were here before? I'm like, yes, because I was brought here because something was wrong with the baby back then, with the stress test and everything. That's where I was brought. So the place where we stayed the longest during the stress test during my second trimester that I talked to you guys about. Go ahead and check that out. It's the same place where we go check in to give birth. So they finally checked me in. They're trying to take my weight, but I had another contraction, and it's getting strong, like it's getting super strong. So like I couldn't move. Every time it happens, like I just can't move for a bit. So the nurse was like, you can hold on to this. I'm like, I can't, like it's not that I can't move, I have contractions right now. But I didn't want to say anything. Like I was just calm, calm. So yeah, they took my weight and my height, and I was like 103 pounds before giving birth. Then yeah, they took me into the room. As soon as I was in the room, they put the stress test on the baby. So the machine that I told you guys about the stress test, to hear the heartbeat and the contraction. So there's two little balls on my stomach. And then so that goes on before the doctor comes. So that's the nurse that does that. And the doctor comes, and then she asks you a few questions about your history and whatever, and then she checks you out. And then yeah, like her hand was in there. Sorry, TMI again, but her hand was in there when I had a contraction. So oh my god, it was so painful. So thank god I didn't really have like back pain. It was mostly just my stomach, just tightening it up every time. Yeah, so she's like, yeah, you are about 2 centimeters dilated, and I believe you are in labor right now. We just looked at each other, David and I just looked at each other, and we're like, wow. I mean, I kind of knew it was happening. Like, I know my body. Like, I don't know, you guys, but it's just like, I'm not trying to brag or anything, obviously, because I'm a first-time mom, but like, I know that something was not right. I know that something was gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just like a false labor or whatever. It's a labor. Like, I know it. Like, Tuesday's one was not labor. This is labor. So yeah, she's like, so yeah, you might be in labor, so we're gonna move you to your delivery room and blah 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 blah. And she was just asking, like, waiting for our reaction, I guess, and we kind of knew. Like, we're just like, oh, okay, all right. So yeah. So as soon as that was done, then another person came to insert my everything. It's like they insert something into my vein so that they can insert like the fluids that they need to insert later on. So it's like a hole. They made a hole into my hand with like several, like, attachments so that they can insert it easily later. So she did that. She kind of broke a vein, and I was bleeding everywhere. I just didn't care. Like, I was more in pain than anything, so I didn't care about that. And then the nurse that was gonna take care of me throughout the night came. She changed me. She put me into another wheelchair, and she wheeled me into my delivery room. The delivery room is much bigger than the stress test room, obviously. How do I say this? Like, the delivery room was huge. Like, all the machine was there. There was a TV. In the stress test room, there was a TV too, but it's much smaller. So they told me that I could have up to 5 people in the delivery room, even when I deliver. And so, and she got me settled and whatever. She started me on some few fluids, and then I told David to get my mom because she was waiting in the waiting room. And David was like, oh, the doctor said she might be in labor right now. And my mom was like, of course she is. But yeah, during the time, my mom thought that David stayed home with me already because of what happened Wednesday night, but he had to work, so sorry, I'm not used to the shiny lips. Ugh, I don't like it. So we're in the delivery room, and then I asked her if I could eat. I didn't eat all day. Like, I told you how my time was. I just spent it sleeping and showering and doing my makeup, or I just had foundation on. And yeah, she brought me some popsicle, some ice cubes, some jello. That's all I could eat. I couldn't eat it. I was not allowed to eat any solids, so that's what I ate. I took my time with it, and they took it away from me. I thought I was gonna finish it. Anyways, so I arrived at the hospital about 5:30. I moved to the room about 7:30. Yeah, so we just played the waiting game. David called his parents right away, saying that I was in labor. I don't know, the nurse explained to me that I can use the bathroom. I just need to bring the wheel machine that has the liquid attached to it with me when I go to the bathroom, and I can go there. She told she told my mom and my husband that they can take a shower there. It's gonna take a while before I give birth, blah blah blah, because it's always usually like that, right? Around 9 o'clock, the doctor came by again and say the contraction, because my contraction is getting stronger. She said that, you know, do I want to take the epidural? And I said, just give me a few more minutes or a couple more like give me time. And she's like, you know, I'm just telling you now because later your contraction is gonna get even stronger. It's gonna be all over, and you're not gonna be able to stay still to get the epidural. And I said, okay, I'll get it. Usually they take forever to, you know, get things done. So around 9:30 I told them yes, and then around 11 is when I got the epidural. Anyways, before that, or around 10:30 is when I got the epidural. Before that, my mom had to get some things home. She went to get some jackets, and I don't know what she had to get some things from home. And she was waiting for my friends Kaipo and Sky to pick her up. And she wanted to take a cab, but then David insisted that they were coming, and it took a little while. And David went somewhere, get food, or I don't know what he did, but anyways, he's not allowed in the room while I get the epidural anyways, because some husbands, they faint apparently. Anyhow, so yeah, around 10:30 I was alone with the nurse, and it was my nurse and the epidural specialist. She came and she told me what to do. You have to actually like hunch your back. So at first I felt it, so I kind of like, you know, like had like reaction, but after I clenched and then I hugged the pillow that they gave me, and I felt the epidural. She said it's gonna numb your like the top of your belly first, then the bottom, then the side, something like that. And I did feel everything. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to tell her that I felt it or like that it's good, but I didn't say anything because it was kind of painful. But anyways, I got the epidural. So from this point on, I didn't feel my contractions anymore until it was super strong, that it was, you know, time to give birth. They didn't let me lay on my stomach, on my back anymore, so I have to lay on my sides. But yeah, they asked me to press this button every time I feel like the contraction is super strong. So I pressed the button around 11:30, and they just say, just remember the time. I mean, I remember the time because I only pressed it once. And then my friends came, Sky and Kaipo came, and they were like all excited that I was gonna give birth. But yeah, I couldn't feel anything, and the room started to get super freezing cold. Oh my goodness, I was so happy for my blanket and my socks. So yeah, I asked my mom to put my socks on, and then I had my blanket on top of everything. I was freezing, you guys. I don't know if anybody had that reaction, but I was freezing cold. Anyways, so time went by. It was around 12. Another specialist came, and she came to tell me that she is there to to induce me pretty much, because my contraction, the time difference in between my contraction is not the same, so they are worried that something is gonna distress the baby. So that's why she was there to pop the big bubble, whatever, to, you know, to break my water pretty much. And she was gonna just do it right and there and then in front of all my friends. I'm like, no. So I asked David to tell them to leave, and then they left. Sorry guys, if you're watching this, that's why you had to leave, because they were about to do something down there. Anyways, so yeah, and then she popped it, and then there was water everywhere, and they explained to me that there's water everywhere right now, blah 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 blah. But yeah, apparently my water was already bulging, or the sac or whatever was already bulging, so she just needed to poke it, and it all went down. And then after that, my nurse put the something there, the stuff that takes your urine. I don't know what it's called. Let me know down below if you guys know what I mean. But yeah, she put that there, so because I cannot use the bathroom anymore. So once she popped my water, She popped my bubble. Once she broke my water, it was just like that, and then Cutie Pie came. So yeah, so after that, like just like 3 minutes later, I asked my nurse, could you check down there, because I feel like her head is down there. And then she's like, yeah, because it's an open wound right now, I cannot check too many times, but if you're bleeding, I can change your pad. But yeah, I will ask the doctor to check for you. I'm like, okay. So she just changed my pad because I was bleeding. But the doctor came, you know, they always take a while to come, like always. The doctor came about like 15 minutes later, and she's like, yep, that's the baby's head. So she called everybody. My nurse, yes, they just have a phone call, some sort of code to call, and everybody came. My nurse, at first, before she knew that I was 34 weeks pregnant, she said that it's just gonna be 2 doctors here, and I could have the 5 people, right? I could still have the 5 people, but I only had David and my mom in the room. But I had 2 doctors down there waiting to give birth, waiting to help me out, and I had about 7 other people on the other side of the room, like right where the baby's supposed to be, the warming table, because she's you know, a premature baby, 34 weeks and 4 days, because it was already 12:30 when I told them about it, so it's already, you know, Friday the 25th. So everybody came. And then the doctor told me how to push. So, you know, you have to like spread your legs right wide open. I had to scooch down because I was super short. They were just staring at it. They could see the baby's head. They were just staring at it, and then I could only push when I have contractions. She told me how to push, like I had to like hold my legs back, and then, you know, I had to put my chin right here, and then I push like I was, you know, going to the bathroom. If you guys want to see my, you know, my birth, if you want to see my my giving birth vlog, I'll put it right here and in the description box, so that you know what I'm talking about. But you know, my mom filmed everything. So yeah, I know the contraction didn't come for a while, so they were just waiting, and they were like, "Mommy, did you feel your first contraction earlier?" I'm like, yes. Like I felt the, you know, because with the epidural, you are not supposed to feel anything.